Freaking hate all of them. Hate all of them. That is just so disgusting. That is so disgusting. That is so disgusting. I cannot say that any more time. It's heavy on the racism, if you ask me. Smarter than anybody and everybody in her intern class. Okay, that's what you get. Now your character bitch. Because I didn't like him from the jump. Baby girl should have got her ish rocked multiple times. Multiple times.
I hear the brown sugar.
Yeah.
Break it down for me.
You know, we all looking for wifey material. A woman that's fine, smart, classy, but not a snob. You know, hella sexy, but not a hoe. That's brown sugar. That's my 𝒕𝒐.
Welcome back to my channel, baby. I go by the name of 𝒕𝒐, and I'm your Aries angel. Today, we're going to be doing my Grey's Anatomy bias. Part 1, because I just have so much to unpack from the show. My last 2 biases was of Charmed and Person of Interest. Charmed was a shorter video because they only have, 8 seasons is a lot of seasons. Person of Interest only has 5 seasons, so that was a pretty much a quick and easy video, even though it was like 20 minutes. With my Person of Interest bias, it was pretty much just a Jocelyn Carter video because she's my favorite character and I really only care about her. Her and, you know, the rest of the crew. I mean, I mess with the rest of the crew, but it's Jocelyn Carter all day. So, with this video, imagine they're on their 17th, 18th, 17th season. 17th season is about to come out in November. It is November. It's about to come out. Oh my god. This is perfect timing. I gotta edit this very quickly. I actually scheduled to make this video last year around September when season 16 came out. So we're a whole year later. A lot has happened. But just imagine how long this video will be. I'm going to start in parts and I'll be talking about the characters first. And we're going to start off with Ben Warren. Now, I'm going to start off with Ben Warren because Ben, I didn't even put Ben on here. He was the last minute addition because I really, child, he has one line in my notes. One line. And I'm not going to be talking about characters who I really don't care about. So yes, this is why this is my bias. This is my opinion. This is how I feel and how I look at the show. So Ben Warren, aka Mr. Miranda Bailey, he gets on my nerves. I kind of don't like him. I like him better on Station 19, actually. I like him more because he's on Station 19. Okay, so homie, I just don't understand how he made it out of that situation where he cut the woman open in the hallway. Looking at the elevator open, so I'm not going to say if Richard was the chief because Richard let everything and anything happen, but if Miranda Bailey was not the chief, I would have sued him. I would have sued them. I would have sued the hospital. Like, this, I just don't understand how he got out of that with no repercussions. This show, I'm completely biased when it comes to Benjamin because I didn't like him from the jump, right? So once Miranda divorced Scooter, if you know, you know. When she divorced Scooter, she got with Ben. Okay, that was whatever. I didn't have no feeling towards that. But once beautiful nurse Eli came in, Miranda chose Ben. I feel like they would have been a bomb couple. Eli was beautiful. I loved everything about Eli. His entire personality. Just the way he would conduct the room. Eli's. So that's why I don't really like Ben at his core, because in the face of decision, it was him and Eli, and Miranda chose him. So that's, That's that. Calliope in Arizona. Okay, I love them equally. I can't choose between Calliope and Arizona. The first go round though, the very first go round, I loved Cali, hated Arizona. Loved Cali, hated Arizona. For those who don't know, I started watching Grey's Anatomy in like 2014, around there. Just so you know, I do my annual binge of the show almost every year. I did it this year. I didn't do it last year. No, I did do it last year. So I did it this year. I did it last year. Didn't do it in 2018. Did it in 2016. You know, I just do annual binges where I watch the entire series from season 1 to wherever we are. So I did that a couple times, and I just did not like Arizona. And I think after the custody battle, I hated her during that time too. After the custody battle, and we proceeded on, Callie left, all that other stuff. Then I started the show over again, and I was like, I actually really love Arizona. After Callie was gone and my vision wasn't blurred, you know, I don't know exactly what made me hate Arizona, but it was like the moment she came in, I was just like, everything she did. And honestly, I think that was a narrative that the show pushed, because I think Richard didn't like Arizona at first or something like that, or maybe, yeah, I think it was Richard. Either way, somebody didn't like her, and I was like, you know what, she is a little too chipper. And once the custody battle happened, I was like, I knew I didn't like her. I knew it. And then she cheated on whatever. I love Arizona. I love Arizona. Even after the plane crash, I loved Arizona's friendship with both April and Richard. I thought that was a great little dynamic that they threw into the show. Oh, yes. I don't remember exactly how I felt when Callie was introduced to the show. I don't really remember. I just know I love Callie. I do know that I hated the way that Meredith and Izzie treated Callie when she first came. It's heavy on the racism, if you ask me. Heavy on the bigotry, but it's whatever. Izzie, baby girl, should have got her ish rocked multiple times. Izzie should have got her stuff knocked off on a few occasions. The show did try to make us feel like, you know, whatever. But I loved Callie, and then once she started getting closer to Mark, and the show overall made her a likable person. When I say that, I mean like the characters liked her also. And then I was down 100%. Love Calliope, love Arizona. Yes. April and Jackson, hated it. Hate them together. I love them individually. Hate them together. And honestly, if you watched, speaking to my existing viewers now, if you watched my person of interest bias, I was talking about how I didn't like April when she first came. I don't know anybody who did like April when she first came. If you did, you were special breed. But I didn't like April. I just didn't. Okay? For many years, I hated her. Up until the point when she gave birth to the stillborn, I was like, oh my God, April. Hang on. Brown hair April. Ooh. Standard. I just couldn't stand her. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. Because she whined about everything. And once she bossed up and she went to the army, she came back that boss bitch. I was like, all right, April, I see you. 𝒕𝒓𝒐𝒎, I see you. Once I started enjoying her character, she left. Which I think was a terrible idea, but I like that April and Arizona left together, but terrible idea for the show. But it's like, okay, so I can now watch the shooting episode or any episode prior to Jackson and her wedding and not gag, you know? Like, she's a tolerable character now for me because I just could not stand her. Jackson Avery is despicable. I love him and I hate him. Like, there is no in between. Disgusting. I'm sorry. Him getting with April, deciding to get with April at her wedding with, what was homie's name? Ryan? No, that's not his name. Josh. I think I'm just being racist now. Let me stop. I don't know his name. That's crazy. What is her dude's name? You know what? It don't even matter. Don't understand. I don't understand. I think that is the most disgusting thing to do. To either leave somebody at the altar, to interrupt somebody's wedding. I object. Head ass. Like, stop. That is so disgusting. That is so disgusting. And I hate the episode where it's dedicated to April and Jackson and they do the wedding and everything like that and they go back and how their failed marriage failed. Okay, I make it my purpose to faithfully skip that episode and any episode that deals with I'm being dramatic. But that episode in particular where we have to see them get married and stuff and it was just trash, I skip it faithfully. They were not meant to be. There's so many people, even to this day, who are just in love with April and Jackson. Like, just the idea of them. I think that is so disgusting. Okay, even when they got together during the, when they were taking their finals or whatever, you know, when they got together, right then, we should have known it wasn't going to work. They should have known it wasn't going to work. They were not equally yoked. It was never going to work out. And they was ugly together. But y'all ain't ready to hear that. You know what I also hate? That after their relationship failed, April and Jackson, after their relationship failed, she goes back to Michael. What is his name? Either way, she go back to him. They get married. On the last episode she owned there. They get married the same day Joe and Alex get married, which is half-assed, honestly, but whatever. April Kepner. Matthew. That's his name, Matthew. I don't think they should have got married. To be completely honest, because if I was Matthew, I'd be like, no, I'm not meant to be your rebound. I'm not meant to be like your backup husband. Ew. Let's talk about Maggie and Jackson for a second, okay? So the fire episode, which is one of my favorite episodes, that was the only time that they ever expressed any chemistry between the two. Alright, now you could say during the time when Maggie's mom was going through what she was going through, that might have been, but it really wasn't. They never really expressed it like they did the fire episode. The longing stares and the handholds and the, Jackson, where's Jackson? Oh my God, stop running in the burning building, you know, type. That was the only time. And honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I was here for it. Because I love and hate, because that's what it is with me and Jackson. I love and hate every single time he gets into a new fling and starts to flirt a little bit. You know, when Jackson flirt, I'll be like I said, I love and I hate it. Because sometimes I want to gag and sometimes I want to blush. So yes, I was here for it initially. And then I saw how they were taking it. And I said, break them up. Break them up. Break them up. Because you know what? This ain't about Maggie, so I'm going to wait till I get to Maggie. But I never really wished ill on Maggie, so I wanted to see her happy, and I thought Jackson, you know, they was gonna be happy. And then they weren't. So then I said, call it a day. Cut that shit off. Cut that shit off. They weren't compatible. Nothing they did was the same. They didn't even like each other. So like, do I want to bring up Stephanie yet? No. My favorite person with Jackson though is Vic. I love Vic. She is an incredibly written character. I absolutely love Vic. I love her on Station 19. I love her with Jackson. I love her on Grey's Anatomy, though she doesn't have many episodes on Grey's Anatomy. I mean, you know. Grey's Anatomy has this thing where they really want folks to watch Station 19. And I didn't watch Station 19 at first. I mean, I was going to because 𝗓𝒐𝒏𝒈𝒂𝒌𝒊𝒓 was on there, and 𝗓𝒓𝒐𝒏𝒈𝒂𝒌𝒊𝒓 used to be on Rosewood. So I was like, yes, I have to watch it. And then Boris Kojo got on the show, and I was like, yes, I have to watch it. But I never watched it until this year, honestly. But yeah, so I always had a plan on, I always planned on watching Station 19. I just never got around to it until Corona happened and we were at home. So I was like, let me watch Station 19 from the beginning to the end. From the rooter to the tutor, alright? And it's a good show. I like it. Some people might not. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but I actually am more invested in the storyline of Station 19 than I am Grey's Anatomy. You know, Grey's Anatomy needs to come to an end. Well, who gonna tell her? Who gonna tell her? I don't know. But I'm gonna keep watching it though. Duh. But I love Victoria. Victoria is the best. And she's the best with Jackson. Even though they're not together. I want them to get back together. So, yeah. So, let's talk about the best interns. Let's talk about the best interns since Magic. Stephanie and Joe and them crew. It was Steph, Joe, Leah. I should know this. The guy, Mousy. Okay, so it's Stephanie Edwards, Joe Wilson, Shane Ross, and Heather Brooks. Okay, Heather Brooks. Now this is not about them because they were cool additions. Shane was cool all up until he started working with I mean, even the beginning stages of him working with Yang was cool, but he just became I don't even want to say what I'm about to say. But no. Shane, he could go somewhere. Heather, loved Heather. Stephanie, Joe. Leah, okay, whatever. Alright. Now, let's go back to Joe and Steph. Because Stephanie Edwards deserved better. Alright? I cannot stand Avery. Ugh! I'm telling you, I will never get over how disgusting they were for that whole thing. Especially Jackson. Like, baby girl got left at the altar by this man who looked her in her eyes and told her, you ain't gotta worry about nothing. When she asked you outside that barn, nigga, you should have said, yes, I have feelings for 𝒓𝒊𝒂𝒏. But no, you sat there and turned to her and said, I'm sorry. Deck him in his fucking throat. Hit him in his... See, but I'm different, right? And then everybody forgot about it. After a couple days, right? If I was Stephanie, I would have punched him in his throat. She deserves so much. You know what? And I thought she was going to have her happily ever after with Kyle Diaz, right? And then they let her mess that up or whatever. They get, and then he died. Disgusting. And then not only that, she deserved better because she was a beautiful black woman who was smart as shit, smarter than Joe, smarter than anybody and everybody in her intern class. And I smell racism. They didn't let her flourish, and then she left the show. Imagine, I think Stephanie's still being on the show now. What if just they took her away? There's only black intern, okay? Besides Vivian, Debbie Allen's daughter. We rarely see her though. On top of all of that, Shorty get burnt up in the fire. In the fire with Chloe from Big Little Lies. Okay? Like, a phenomenal episode, by the way. I think I've said this before. I loved the fire episode. It was a great episode. Baby girl, Janika, is that her name? I think that's her name. Stephanie Edwards, the actress, killed that episode. But she deserved better, and I'll forever stand Miss Edwards forever and always. She was a better, I've said this, but she was a better doctor than Joe. Clearly. And Joe, let's get to Joe. You know what? I didn't like Joe when she first came. She wasn't my favorite. I mean, she was cool or whatever. I liked her and Edward's dynamic. It was giving us very much New Edition, Yang and Grey. You know, we loved that for us. But I just didn't really like Joe. She is a terrible friend. Let's talk about that. Terrible friend. They were necessarily friends. Like, they were a perfect frenemy type of thing. They were frenemies, okay? Because Joe seemed a little jealous. She seemed a little racist. She was annoying. When she got with Alex, I was kind of on the fence with her. I was like, okay. Because at the time, I was still very much Izzy and Alex. After watching the show multiple times, she grew on me. She's been through a lot. Child, she's going through something every other episode. Why does Joe has to struggle so much? Like, Joe used to be so happy and bubbly. Like, now that I look back on the show after seeing Joe now, she was just so bubbly and happy. Now, George and Izzy. Let's talk about George real quick. George O'Malley King. Okay, he is my top 2 favorite characters of all time on this show. I hate how his character became later on during his span of the show. I just, he seemed just a little, he was just like agitated at everything. And then by the time movies coming up on him leaving, you rarely seen him in the show at all. Like, if he had a line or two, he was snapping at somebody, but I don't care, because I still love George O'Malley. I loved his relationship with Bailey. I loved his relationship with Burke. Oh, should I talk about Burke? This may be a very spicy take, okay? This is my opinion. I loved Burke. Yep. He was trash. Okay, I don't know how much I have to say this, but it's disgusting to leave anybody at the altar. I think that is the most disgusting thing ever. At least Yang didn't have to walk down, or he didn't leave her while they was in front of everybody. Like, that was just really... That is just so disgusting. That is so disgusting. I cannot say that any more times. That is so embarrassing. That's disgusting. I don't care how much I'm rooting for a character or anything like that, because in the movie Brown Sugar, I love the scene when Queen Latifah is trying to get 𝑦𝒊𝒂𝒌𝒊𝒓 to object to the wedding, right? I think you should object prior to the wedding, alright? well, mind you, gosh darn business. And you know, it happened the way it happened at the end. But even though that is one of my favorite scenes, and I love that scene, I'd be cracking the freak up. It's just not cute. It's not cute. It's disgusting. But Burke character prior to all of that, it's definitely like him and Gang were personally my favorite together. Out of all of Yang's relationships, hell, she only had 2. So yeah, technically she didn't really have 2, but like she had 2 main relationships, Burke and Owen, and I liked Burke better. I liked their chemistry better. That's just that on that. George O'Malley, he was great. It was terrible. I hated him and Izzy. I don't know why they did that. I don't know why they did that. Him and Callie was a little whatever to me too. It was like, oh, but it happened. Okay, they got married. It was what it was. Him and Izzy, he was disgusting for cheating on Callie with Izzy. The way I feel about George and Izzy getting together is the way I feel about Kim Possible and Ron Stoppable getting together. There was no chemistry. Why can't there be 2 male and female friends and keep it completely platonic? Like Joey and Phoebe, they never got together. And their chemistry was through the roof. But they keep putting these folks together who has no chemistry. Freaking Lizzie, that's her name. Lizzie McGuire and Gordo. Maya. It's just stuff like that just makes me so mad. And then they did all of that for it not to be good. Izzy and George. Like, I bet you look stupid. I bet you feel stupid for doing all of that. Ruining y'all for the friendship, relationship for something that wasn't even good. And honestly, you can say it was ruined or not. It didn't feel the same. It didn't feel the same. And we was already leaving a dark time when him and Meredith got together, which was a terrible time in Grey's history. We're already leaving that, right? And then they have the nerve to do this on top of that. On top of that, and Izzy thought she was about to get beat up by Kelly. Thank y'all for not falling into the stereotype that she would beat her up, but she should have. She should have. She should have failed or something, busted her nose, broke something. Like I just needed something to happen to Izzy for some repercussions. And George, he deserved a little something too, but you know he got held back, right? With his little dumb ass. He got held back. So, and then he died by getting hit by a bus. So, he got his karma. Alright? Oh my God. And then, when George died, freaking hate all of them for laughing at his funeral. I'll never forget them. I will never forget them. Also, George's death hit me the most, like the hardest. It did. And the first couple of times that I watched Lexi die, I didn't really cry. George and Lexi are fighting for top spot when it comes to the greatest deaths that made me tear up. Because I'm a very sensitive person, I'm a very emotional person. And this last time that I watched Grey's Anatomy and Lexi died, I was blubbering like it was not cute. For hours I was on one, so I was like, whoa. Isabel Stevens is my terrible problematic fave. I love Izzy. I've been talking shit about Izzy this whole video, but I love Izzy. I do, and nobody can make me change my mind. She's great. She's terrible, but she's great. I liked when Izzy was like this bubbly character, and she just loved to cook, everything like that, and she loved Christmas. Like, that was a great part of Izzy's character. Something happened. mean, it has dynamics of the character, but did we really like the dynamic? I don't know. They really failed her. She has so much potential. I think the writing of the show is the reason why people don't like Kennedy. The writing of her character, I mean, and you know what? The showrunners probably did that on purpose because she was, you know, 𝘕𝑚𝑒𝑚 she was complaining about her character, so they probably did that on purpose to make her character be a bitch. Okay, that's what you get. Now your character be bitch. But anyway, I can see the potential in what Izzie Stevens could have been, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Now, I talked about how Alex and Izzie were at one point my fave, and they were only my fave because Denny died. Cause I love 𝑑𝑦𝑑𝑢𝑘𝑎𝑡. Don't nobody come above 𝑑𝑦𝑑𝑢𝑘𝑎𝑡. Izzie and 𝑑𝑦𝑑𝑢𝑘𝑎𝑡. Yes, Izzie was crazy. She was tenacious. Alright? She was passionate, but she was just too emotional. Too freaking emotional. I'm emotional. Sweetie, come through. 𝖕𝑊𝒂𝒌𝒊𝒅𝒆, like, it was crazy. Burke got shot. It was crazy, okay? I personally believe that Izzie should have died with George. Yes, when she did leave after the cancer and stuff, when she did leave, I understood, of course, everybody can understand where Alex was coming from when he felt the way he felt, but I just felt like, you know, Meredith is a little fake, okay? Because she was always closer to Izzie. She lived with Izzie. They didn't even like Alex at first, but then it was like all of a sudden 𝑺𝒊𝒊𝒓, right? I don't know. It's like I see where your loyalties lie. Next.